with Sacramento. The city of Sacramento has been reunited and excited for the season. So can you just share your thoughts about his energy and just commitment every single day to the organization and just bringing itself?
Yeah, Mike is brilliant. I mean, he's just he's got so much energy, so much love for the game, love for his job, for his work. He brings this enthusiasm every single day, and that's what we enjoyed so much, over the last 5-6 years, however long he was here. And he and I were really a perfect pair. He sort of covered up for my weaknesses and complimented me really well, and I just loved being around him. So thrilled for him. It's a great opportunity. A lot of good young talent in Sacramento, and I've watched them a few times, in preseason and here early on, and he's got them playing hard and playing at a high level. I know they lost 2 close games so far, but they look good, and I think Mike's going to do a great job there.
What have you seen in the film with the second unit? Like, why it hasn't performed that well so far, particularly the group that has JaMychal, James, and Jonathan together?
Just not enough spacing. But with that said, we had some decent shots, some decent looks. And I don't think that group has looked bad. But it's a lot of young guys and new guys. It's never easy, even as a vet, to go to a new team. And so you got JaMychal and Dante coming from different situations, and then some really young guys playing with them. So it's going to take a little time.
Steve, when you look at the video of the last game against Denver, the defense obviously struggled throughout the first half. Do you think it was energy? Do you think it was lack of awareness? What do you think was going on? And were you able to see anything when you looked at it?
Well, it was a combination. They're a great offensive team, number one, but there were some breakdowns game plan wise that, just in terms of the detail, closing out on the right people and, different coverages that we may have, not been on top of, that allowed a couple guys to get going early. And I think it was just our overall defensive demeanor. But I said after the game that I felt like, that was a game we needed to get over the hump. Conditioning wise, a big part of conditioning is not just not getting winded. It's being able to focus and lock in on the game plan when you're tired, when you're feeling winded. And so I think that game will end up helping us quite a bit, because second half we looked like a different team. The attention to detail was much better, and we gave ourselves a shot to win. So I expect we'll be better. It's still so early, but we understand that the first part of the game is important. You got to set a tone defensively, and I hope we can do that tonight.
Steve, is Baldwin a go, and how eager are you to see him in his debut? Yeah,
he should be ready to go, and hopefully he gets a chance to get out on the floor. So we'll see.
Hey, Steve. Wiseman, small sample size, but what have you seen in him so far that is different than before pre-injury?
I think just a better feel for his role, for what we're asking of him. Better feel for spacing, keeping his game, sort of confined to the things he does really well, and then playing within the style that we're asking him to. All of those things generally come with experience, and that's what's happened. He's finally getting the experience he needs. The summer league, the whole summer here in our facility, great training camp. So he's really starting to figure things out, and it's exciting to watch.
Leandro Barbosa joined Mike Brown's staff. What did you enjoy about having Leandro here as a player development coach? Like his knowledge, his spirit, what stood out to you?
Well, LB has always been an amazing teammate. He was a great teammate as a player, also a great teammate as a coach, and fun to be around. Wonderful spirit, zest for life. When LB walks into the room, everybody just smiles, and that matters when you're basically living on a submarine with, 60 people. So LB is a breath of fresh air. And on top of that, he was really, really helpful with our young players because he knows a lot of the current players in the league. He's guarded a lot of these guys, and he could play in our pickup games, our scrimmages. I used to tell him, those 2 years when we were really struggling, so LB, you're like our sixth best player right now. That's, it's not a good thing, but you're doing great. I think he still could have played actually over the last few years. I think he could have played in the league. Now, the question was always, can you play for 5 or 6 straight games without getting injured? Sustaining yourself in this league is a different thing than being able to survive a game, but he's still so athletic and bouncy and fast. No question, if you just threw him out into a game, the average fan would not notice the difference. I mean, he's still got it.
Hi, Steve. Good to see you back here. Just any thoughts on having Mike and Leandro in the building today and having the opportunity to present them with their rings?
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. We're going to do that pregame, and both guys are really special to me. So I'm thrilled that we're able to do this, especially early in the season. They both played such a big role in our organization's success. LB as a player and a coach, and then Mike, on the staff all these years. So I'm sure they'll both get the reception they deserve from our fans. It'll be a great moment.
Steve, I know you kind of spoke to this already, but who on the coaching staff right now has kind of helped made up for Mike Brown's departure?
Well, everybody takes on slightly different roles. And so everyone we have a lot of continuity within the staff. We've added a couple of new people, but for the most part, a lot of our coaches have just moved up the ladder a little bit. So Jama is taking on more responsibility. Kenny is in charge of the defense. Chris DeMarco is still playing a huge role on our defensive side of the ball. So everybody's just trying to fill in.
Hey, Steve, with Mike and Leandro, you talk about their enthusiasm and how infectious it is. How important is that for a young team like the Kings to kind of build that dynamic, and looking back at when you first came here to kind of building that kind of culture and joy as well?
Well, it's his situation is different from mine when I came here. He's got a younger team. I took over a team that was maybe young, but also had some veterans and was already a playoff team. So he's got a bigger job in terms of laying the foundation. But I think he's the perfect guy for that job. He's so knowledgeable on both sides of the ball. His energy is infectious. And as I said, just that joy and that love for the game, the players will feel that.
Steve, Jordan's had a kind of a rough first 2 games. What do you think he has to do to sort of get that second unit back to where it needs to be, and how much of it is on him?
Well, it's on everybody. It's on me, on Jordan, on the whole group. And like I said, it's a group that hasn't played much together, so we need to give them some time. And then there's a couple things we can tweak, and places I can put Jordan in a better position to have some space. So we'll try to do that a little bit tonight. And but I don't worry about him. After what I've seen the last couple of years, we know who Jordan is. That's why we gave him the contract we gave him. He's a guy who deeply cares about the game and about his performance, and you like that, but at the same time, it's a long season. Don't worry about a couple tough games.
Steve, Draymond said the other night, he said, I know I'm in great shape and I can play more minutes, but I'm listening to everything Rick Celebrini says and the game plan. And how do you sort of balance that? He wants to get out there and play more minutes, but you have a plan. And
I listen to Rick.
Yeah.
I don't balance it.
Okay. But I mean, does Rick map that out? Is it game to game, or does he say, okay, I'm leaning toward, you guys maybe lean toward this many minutes in game 3 and maybe increase it by 3?
It's day to day. It's game to game. Yeah. So tomorrow, we'll see how Draymond does tonight, and then we'll take a look. tomorrow, and if assuming everything's going well, then he'll get bumped up a little bit. But guys get a little bit older. They still believe that they can play every night. But let's not forget, Draymond missed half the year with a back injury last year. So for us to rush him back to 30 plus minutes would be completely irresponsible. And as with most players, but especially guys who are super competitive like Draymond, you have to protect them from themselves. And so we'll continue to be cautious.
And a guy like Looney who wants to play 82 again, how do you guys had some conversations during the season last year, and I know, you got feedback from him, and he said, I'm good to go. I mean, is that going to be the same with Looney?
It's always, there's always conversations with every single guy, and every player has a different set of circumstances. So we evaluate all that. Rick evaluates all of it. And, we try to make the best decision for each guy.
Going back to Mike, your respect and friendship for him really comes through this afternoon in this coaching battle of wits. What kind of tactician might Mike be?
Mike is a great tactician. He worked both sides of the ball for us. He was in charge of our offense for a couple of years and then took over the defensive side last year, but was always contributing to the overall game plan, regardless of what his title was. So just somebody I have great respect for. He's been studying the X's and O's for a long, long time. It just comes very naturally to him. His mind sort of works that way. He sees the game like a chessboard, and so he's constantly, sort of messing around with schemes and looking at how things might play out. And so somebody I think is among the best in the league at trying to figure out what's happening and figuring out the best game plan to beat a team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.